Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing great. Welcome to the end of term exam questions. This is the FRQ part, is the free response questions or the writing part. In this question, we will add, subtract, and multiply polynomials. Here we have been given this question to be added. All we have to do is group the like terms together. That means the terms with the same variable, with the same degree, those coefficients can be added up. Say, for example, 6x power 3. Which other term has the same degree here? Now, since it's plus, all the signs will remain the same thing. It is plus x power 3. Then, which is the next term? 7x power 2, which is having degree of 2. It is minus 4x power 2, because plus times minus would be minus 4x power 2. Then we have minus 2x and minus 8x, and then the constant terms, that's the numbers 5 and 1. Now, solve them. Here, these can be solved up. Whichever I put the lines, they can be solved up. 6 plus nothing means it's 1. 6 plus 1 is 7x to the power 3. Here, 7 minus 4 will be plus 3x power 2. Minus 10x, why? Because minus 2 minus 8 is minus 10. And lastly, we have plus 6. That is the answer. Simple as that. That is how we solve it up. But here you can see there are two methods. One is horizontal and one is vertical. I always tend to do horizontal method, which is much easier. You just group the like terms, which we did, and then solve the terms, and that's the answer. Vertically also can be done. You write this below it, and then if it's minus, you change the sign here. If it's plus, you leave that, and then solve one by one. Here it's 7, minus 3, 2, and so on. It is easier to go with horizontal for complicated problems and for multiplication rather than this vertical method. So I'll stick to the horizontal method only. What about this problem? Here we have to subtract it. So now the first step would be left side will be the same thing. 2x power 5 plus 11x power 4 plus 7x. But here, after minus 8, there is minus. So all the signs here change. It will be minus 5x power 4. This minus sign is multiplied to all the terms. Then we have minus 9x power 3 plus 3x and minus 4. Now we will group the like terms together. Is there any term having degree 5? No, it's only one. So let us leave that. What about the next one? 11x power 4. And here we have minus 5x power 4. Then what is the next highest? Don't write x. It's always the highest degree. Then it's in descending order. 5, 4, 3. Which is 3 here? Minus 9x power 3. And then there is no x power 2 at all. So we go to the next one, that is x 7x plus 3x minus 8 minus 4. Now let's solve it up. It will be 2x power 5 plus 6x power 4. That is 11 minus 5 is 6. Then minus 9 plus, sorry, this is only a single term. You write it as it is. Why? Because there is no other term with the degree x, with the term x power 3. Now what is this? 7 plus 3, that is 10x. And lastly, minus 12. So here we go, that will be the answer. Now first we have to multiply the sign and then group the like terms together and then solve it up. That was the answer. Yes, that's the correct answer we got. Next problem, it seemed like the previous one. I'll solve all of them. If you have understood, try solving them by yourselves and then continue watching. You can pause it now and try this. Here the left terms remain the same because the right, it's minus, so we have to change the sign of all the terms. Sorry, it is minus 6a and minus 12. If there was any minus here, if it was minus 12, then minus times minus would have been plus 12. Now the terms, I'm not going to do two steps. I'm not going to group the terms. I'm directly going to solve it. 6 minus 4. But in your exam, you do the grouping step. You should write 6a squared minus 4a squared, then plus 5a minus 6 and so on. I'm just going to solve it directly. It will be 2a squared, then minus a, and lastly minus 2. So that is the answer here. Here we go. What about the next problem? Same thing, pretty simple problems. It's 7b squared plus 6b minus 7. And here it is minus 4b squared and plus 2 because it's minus. Minus and minus becomes plus. And this will be 3b squared plus 6b minus 5. And that will be the answer.
Here we go. That's it. And what about this one now? Okay, I thought it was multiplying. It's adding, so it remains the same. The signs will be the same, and you just have to add them. 2 plus 1 is 3g plus 12. Pretty simple problems, isn't it? 3g plus 12. And now here as well. Now again, we are doing subtraction. Instead of adding, most likely you'll get a subtraction problem because there's a sign change. Adding is very straightforward. There's nothing much in that. 2d plus 5 minus d minus 1, and we will have 4d plus 4. Now you can also simplify this further. If you want, you can remove this out. 4 is a common term. And to simplify it further, it'll be d plus 1. If you multiply this 4, it's going to be 4d plus 4. I've just used distributive property here. So that is the answer here. And another adding problem, it'll be x squared plus, sorry, I just group them together right now because it's plus here. The signs won't change. It's 2x squared minus 3x plus 7x and minus 3 minus 2. So this is going to be 3x squared plus 4x and minus 5. That will be the answer. You can see that's it. And again, adding problem, I'm going to add them directly. It's going to be minus 2 minus 2. It's minus 4f power 2. Then minus 3 will be minus 6f. Lastly, it's minus plus, and it'll be plus 3. It's minus 5 plus 8. That will be positive 3. And what do we have here? It's again another subtraction problem. 2x minus, okay, let me write it, 2x minus 5x and minus 3 plus 6. I've just multiplied in my mind and grouped them up. And then minus 3x, and we have plus 3. You can remove minus 3 outside, then it's going to be x minus 3. This is not required, but if you multiply this inside, you'll get the above term itself. Minus 3 plus 3 is the answer. What about this one? Here again, it's x squared minus 3x squared plus 2x plus 4x minus 5 minus 7. And we have over here minus 2x squared plus 6x minus 12. That will be the final answer. Here we go. And now we are in multiplication. Multiplication by FOIL rule. You must remember here we are multiplying this term throughout and then this term throughout. So here, what's the first term? X times x power 2 will be x power 3 plus 2x squared y plus xy power 2. Then now it's minus, because minus y, right? Minus x squared y. I'll write x first and then y. Plus 2xy power 2. Sorry, it's not plus y because it's minus. And then what do we have? It is minus y power 3. Now, is it over? Can we simplify it? Don't forget, we can simplify it further because x power 3, there's no other term. Even y power 3 is alone. But x squared y, look at this. This is also x squared y. So, plus 2 minus 1 will be 1. That is just x squared y. Or you can write 1 x squared y. That's fine. And what about xy squared? It's the same thing. Minus xy squared. See, over here it's plus 1 minus 2 will be minus 1. And minus y power 3. So this is the final answer. And here we go. That's it. So it was plus, plus, minus, minus. What about this one here? The arrows are correct, so I'm not going to remove them. Just these terms needs to be rearranged. I mean the new terms. Let's do it. A multiplied by a3. I'll write it over here. A power 4. This is a cubed. A multiplied by minus 3a squared. This is the answer. A times a will be a squared. And lastly, minus ab power 2. Then we have b plus b. Sorry, let me write a first. A power 3b minus 3ab squared and minus b cubed. Now, can we simplify anything? Let's see. A power 4 cannot be simplified. This one over here, a squared. There is no other term with a squared. And b squared, and okay, this can be simplified, only this. Okay, let me just check this out. Yes, that is true. No other terms. So it is a power 4 minus 3a squared b, and it's minus 4ab squared plus a cube b minus b cube. So that will be the answer. So here we go. It's a power 4 minus 3. Okay, now they have written this first. Plus a cube. Okay, I'll tell you how is it's written generally. The highest degree is a power 4, right? Then which is having a next highest power of a. That is plus a cube b. Then we have minus 3a squared b. And then we write minus 4ab squared minus b cubed. So that's why we are written. But even writing this is absolutely fine. This is also correct. It's just that the terms are just merge. It's in different places, positions. That's fine. But as long as the terms are correct, you will get full marks. Now let's do this problem here. There is three terms in the first one, three terms in the second one. So here trinomial and trinomial. It'll be more arrows. See, this is not over here, it's to the first one. Let me clear it out and write it over here. This with this and this. And then we have this over here, and again this one over here. So we'll do it all. So it'll be first one, 2x power 5. Why? Because x power 3 times 2x squared. What happens with the powers? When you have x power 2 multiplied by x power 3, you add up the powers. It'll be x power 5. Okay, it's not multiplied 3 times 2. No, it'll be added up. Then we will multiply with the next one, minus x power 4 plus 2x cubed. Then we have minus 3 times 2 is minus 6. The numbers over here, the coefficients will be multiplied, minus 6, but the powers will be added up. It's not 2 times 2, though the answer is same. It's 2 plus 2 that gives us 4. Then we have minus and minus will be plus 3x power 3. It's not 2 times 1, it's 2 plus 1 with the powers, exponents. And lastly, we have minus 6x squared, and last term is the multiplied by 1, so we'll have the same terms, 2x squared minus x plus 2. So now, highest degree, 2x power 5, it's all alone. What about the next highest degree? X power 4, there are two terms, it'll be minus 7x power 4. Then what about x power 3? That's over here. It'll be 5 plus 5x power 3. And then we have x power 2, that is minus 4x power 2 minus x plus 2. So this is the final answer. You can do in many steps as well, but as long as you get this answer, that is more than enough. You can see this. Let's just compare. Yes, that's absolutely correct. So you can see here there are many steps, but anyway, you do the correct answer even with small amount of steps. As long as you've done this, the markings, the arrow, and this is written properly, you will get full marks. Now what about this problem? Here, what I'll do is I'll multiply this rather than these four terms to be multiplied to these two terms. I'll multiply 3x to this and then minus 1 to all of them. That's it. Okay, the arrows are not proper, but I hope you know the arrows. What happens is this with the first term, this with the second term, and so on. I'll remove the arrows. Let me just focus over here directly. So it is 4 times 3. Sorry, it's not 4. It is 12x power 6. How does this happen? 4 times 3 is 12. X power 5 times x, you need to add the exponents. It'll be 5 plus 1, it's 6. Then we have to multiply this 4x power 5 with minus 1. That will be minus 4x power 5. The next term, x power 3 multiplied. It will be plus 3x power 4 minus x power 3. Then we have minus 21x power 3 plus 7x squared. And lastly, we have plus 6x minus 2. Okay, that's minus 2. Plus 6x minus 2. Let us solve it up now. X power 3, there's only a single term with this, 12 x power 6, right? And then x power 5 is also a single term. And then x power 4 is also a single term. What about x power 3? There are two terms with x power 3, so it'll be minus 22x power 3. Then a single term for x power 2, single term of x, and lastly it's minus 2. So that must be the answer. So here we go, 12x power 6, yes. And then we have minus 4x power 5 plus x power 4 minus 22, yes, correct. I'm just verifying the answer. Yes, this is absolutely correct. You can go with the exact detailed steps or whatever I have done, that is more than sufficient. In this question, we will divide polynomials either by using the long division or the synthetic division method. Here, let us look into the problems. It's about averages. Bina has a list of n plus 1 numbers that she needs to find their average. Two of the numbers are given here, n cube and 2. Each of the other n minus 1 numbers are equal to 1. Find the average of these numbers. So here, let's look at this. If you let's take a hypothetical example. If you have 5, 7, 9, 12, 1, imagine these are some random numbers, and again 3 and 2. How do you find the average? You add them all up over here and then divide by the number of total numbers down over here. How many numbers are there? Number of numbers. That is basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you divide it by 7, that is the average. Now here you are being told there is n plus 1 numbers. So that n plus 1 is there, right? That is down because that must be divided. The total numbers, how many numbers are there? That must be divided. What are the numbers? They must be added up. So we know two of the numbers are n power 3 and 2. But we don't know the other. But they have clearly told each of the other n minus 1 numbers. That means there are still n minus 1 numbers which are all equal to 1. So now if I tell there are 5 more numbers which are all equal to 1, so how do I write 5 times 1, right? Same way, I'll write over here n minus 1 times 1. So let's simplify this. It will be n power 3 plus 2 plus n minus 1, because when you multiply it's the same thing. 1 it's multiplied with, right? And n plus 1. Let's rearrange this. Let's write n cube first. Plus 2, let's write n. Plus 2 minus 1 will be plus 1. Divided by n plus 1. Here we go. Now this is what we need to divide. And look at the divisor, the down term. It's just, coefficient is just 1. So we can use synthetic division, right? So we'll find the quotient using synthetic division. First term, the highest degree is power 3. So let's write the coefficient, that is 1. What is the coefficient of n squared? That is n power 2. It's not there, so that means it's 0. And then we have n, that is 1. And last number also is 1. So it's 1, 0, 1, 1. And what is the number here? It is n plus 1. If you make it equal to 0 and take it to the other side, it will be n is equal to minus 1. So remember, it will be minus 1 here. Whatever sign is there, the opposite sign. And the first term goes down as it is. It will be 1. 1 times minus 1 is minus 1 here. Add them up. What will be the answer? It will be minus 1 itself. Now minus 1 times minus 1 is positive 1. Here we add them up, right? Always adding. Okay. And 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 times minus 1, what is it? Minus 2. And now minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1 here. So this is the remainder, the last one. Very simple. And what are the coefficients here? What have we got? Here, this is the constant term, n squared. We started with n cubed divided by n. So it will be 3 minus 1. The maximum here it can be is n power 2. So this coefficient 1, n power 2, minus 1, n plus 2. And this is remainder minus 1. But we generally write without one coefficient is not written. So let's write it as n squared minus n plus 2. And then what we write is the remainder. That's minus 1. Write minus 1, but that's wrong. Remainder divided by the divisor. What was the divisor? N plus 1. So this would be the final answer. Okay, that will be the more appropriate way to write it. Also, you can write it, like this as well. N squared minus n plus 2. And remainder, you can just write remainder is equal to minus 1. That is also fine, but it's better way to write it like this, which I have encircled with. You can see the final answer here as well. They have written n squared minus n plus 2 minus 1 by n plus 1. So that's how we write it. What about 31st? About volume. The volume of a cylinder is pi times so much. If the height of the cylinder is x plus 40, find the area of the base in terms of x and pi. They have given us the volume. We have to just find the area, that is divided by this height. See, if you remember, the volume of cylinder is pi r squared h. And then what you're doing is you need to find the area. Area is pi r squared, but you have been given in terms of pi itself. So they have clearly mentioned it. So let's take h to the other side. That is pi r squared. What you have is basically r squared. So we'll just divide, what you have is volume, but with respect to pi. So what we'll do is we'll just take this terms and leave the pi as it is, and then at the end we will multiply it with whatever the quotient we get. So here again I'm going to use synthetic division. The coefficients over here is 1, 32, minus 304, 640. And what is it over here? It is minus 40 because x plus 40, right? It'll be minus 40. Now, let us write this down as it is. It'll be 1 times minus 40 is minus 40. Here you will have minus 8. Minus 8, 8 fours are 32. It'll be minus, and minus will be plus 32, 320. Now that will be positive 10, 16. And now we have to do 16 times 4, 16 times 2 is 32, 64, 640. So that will be minus 640. And when you solve it up, it's going to be 0. This is it. You can use calculator and do it and check the values. Now this is the answer, the quotient. Basically, this is the radius. So whatever you get, let's write in terms of x and pi, right? Let's write the x ones. Remainder is 0, so it's gone. Nothing, no need of worrying about that. It'll be 16 plus x and 8 minus x power 2. This is the term which we'll get. Now this has pi with it. Don't forget that because it's in terms of r square and pi. This is the area equation. I can write in sentences. So this is the area. Area is equal to, and you can also write the formula which we had written at the beginning. Volume is pi r squared h. What we did, we took it over here to the other side. V divided by h, and that area is basically pi r squared. That is it. So that will be the final answer. Since there's no remainder, you can just write like that. Say it's pi x squared minus 8x plus 16. What about this one here? Now this one, they have asked you to write the remainder in this form. Remainder divided by the divisor using long division. Now, okay, they have clearly mentioned it's long division. I'll do long division, but then I'll even show you, you can do this in the synthetic division method as well. Now, if you get confused by long division and if you know to do synthetic division, just go ahead with it. At least do one type of division. Now, long division will have this entire term written over here. 6x to the power 4. This is the dividend. Let's write it out. Minus 16x squared plus 24x plus 32, and then divide this entire thing by 2x plus 4. And now what we do is we multiply. See, now we have to multiply with such a number that when you multiply 2x, we must get 6x power 4. This must be there no matter what. So what we can do is 6x power 4 divided by 2x will give us what we need to multiply. It is 3x power 3. So 3x power 3 is here. See, 2 times 3 is 6. X power 3 times x is x power 4. But it's not over. This 4 also has to be multiplied here. It will be 12x power 3. And the signs here change. This goes off. What happens? 2 minus 12 will be minus 10x power 3. And bring the next term down. It will be minus 16x squared. Now you have to do the same thing. It will be minus 10x power 3 divided by 2x here. So it's going to be minus 5x power 2. So if I have minus 5x power 2, what's happening? 2 times minus 5 will be minus 10, and x times x squared is x power 3. Now 4 times 5 will be minus 20x squared. This cancels off when you change the sign. This will be here. It'll be 4x squared. And then bring the next term, it'll be plus 24x. And what happens is 4x squared by 2x, that is equal to 2x. So now we need to add it with 2x and now multiply to double check it. 2 times 2 is 4 and x times x is x squared, and then 4 times 2 is plus 8x, and this goes off, and then over here it'll be 16 plus 16x, and bring the 32 down, and what is remaining? It is 16x divided by 2x, that is equal to 8. So let's add it by 8, and you can see 2 times 8 is 16x, and 4 times 8 is 32, so it all cancels off. It's 0. The remainder is 0 basically. So there's no remainder. So the answer over here will be this much itself. And now using long division in this form, so we don't need to write in this form. Why? Because this is the quotient, right? 3x power 3 minus 5x power 2 plus 2x plus 8 plus 0 is the remainder divided by 2x plus 4. 0 divided by anything will be 0. So we can ignore that part. Actually, we have to remember it's 0 divided by this term. But we are not writing this. Why? Because it's 0. Yeah, at 0 divided by anything is gone. So the here 0 is the remainder. Okay, they're asking whether it's a factor. If at all the remainder will be 0, then this is a factor. What does that mean is, say for example, you have 32 divided by 2. The answer is 16, right? If it is divisible, then this is a factor. You can get 2 times 16 is 32. It's a factor. Whereas now 33 divided by 2, it is 16.5. It's not a whole number. So it's not a factor exactly. There's no whole number multiplied by 2 to give us this. Whenever the remainder is 0, we tell it's a factor. If the remainder is not 0, if you divide this, the remainder is 1, so then it's not a factor. Now, the same problem, I'll just show you how to do it in synthetic division. This question here, right? What you can do is, see, this is the 2, this is the issue. If I did not have this 2, I can use synthetic division easily. So how about I divide all the terms by 2? See, everywhere I'll divide it by 2 and I'll simplify. Basically, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just balancing all the sides. All the terms are balanced. So now the new terms will be 3x power 4 plus x power 3 minus 8x squared plus 12x plus 32 divided by x power, this is just x plus 2. Now here you can see it's having a coefficient of 1. So I'm going to use this as my synthetic division. The answer will be the same. The quotient, we can just wait and watch. So what is this? The terms for synthetic division, we have 3, 1, minus 8, 12, 32. And this one will be minus 2 because you know it's plus x plus 2, so we have to consider it to be minus 2. Let's bring this down. Let's draw a line. Okay, that's a very bad line. Let me draw a straighter line. 3. So 3 times minus 2 is minus 6. Add this up, it'll be minus 5. Minus 5 times 2 will be plus 10. Add it up. Over here, everywhere we add it. Always in synthetic division, you add this. It'll be positive 2. 2 times minus 2 is minus 4. And we get positive 8. 8 times minus 2 is minus 32. Add it up, 0 is the remainder. Yes, it was 0 itself. Now here, this is 8 plus 2x minus 5x squared. And lastly, we have 3x power 3. Didn't we have that? In fact, I forgot. Let me check it. So yes, you can see here it's 3x cubed minus 5x squared plus 2x plus 8. That's the correct answer, and the remainder is 0. It should work as long as you have divided throughout. But if you just divide, say, the denominator, then no, you will not get the correct answer. You must divide each and every term, and then yes, you'll get the same answer. You can check over here. This is the quotient. Not this, I just got confused over here for a minute. This is the quotient, and the remainder is 0. And then it is a factor. Here again we need to divide. We need to find the area. The volume is given and one of the side is given. So when we divide, we must get the area. And since it's a volume real world problem, it is a factor. The remainder must be 0. But can you do this in synthetic division? Yes, it's possible if you divide all the terms by 9. But look at what you'll do. You'll just make it more complicated. You know, it'll take more time because you need to do each and everything 4 by 9 and all. It just gets complicated, you know. So instead of that, what we'll do is we'll use the long division. So 9x plus 4 divided by, okay, let me give some space for the quotient as well. We'll write the answers over there. It'll be 45x power 3 plus 83x squared plus x minus 12. Now, if you're wondering, what if there was no x power 2? If they had missed a term, like it was not in descending order, in the sense there was jump, please write it as 0. Imagine this term was missing. It was just 45x cubed plus x. then we have to write 0x squared. So remember, all must be accounted for. If there's nothing, write 0 and that particular degree. Now, first one, how do we do it? It'll be 45x power 3 by 9x, that is equal to 9 5 times and x 2 times. So it just write 5x power 2. So 9 5 times is 45x times x squared is x power 3. Now, same thing with 4 and 5, it'll be 20x squared. Now we simplify this, change the sign. First term always deletes. What about this? It'll be 63x squared. Bring the next term down plus x. Now then it is 63x squared divided by 9x. 7 times 7x. So here we just have to add 7x. 9 times 7 is 63. And then we have x and x, that's x squared. And it'll be 4 times 7 times 4 is 24. 28, sorry. 7 8s are 28. And then we have x. So sign changes here as well. This goes off, and then plus and minus, it'll be minus 27x. And bring the last one down, it's minus 12. So we have 27x, that's negative 27x divided by 9x. X cancels, it'll be minus 3. So last term is minus 3. 9 times minus 3 is minus 27x. 4 times minus 3 is minus 12. Now the sign changes here. This will be plus, and both the terms is gone. Remainder is 0. The quotient is over here. That's the area. So area is, it's 5x squared plus 7x minus 3. Let's look over here. It's 5x squared plus 7x minus 3. That's the correct answer.
Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this question, we will solve polynomial equations by factoring. Here we have been told a rectangular box has dimension of x inches, x plus 5 inches and x minus 2 inches. The volume of the box is 30x cubic inches. Find the dimension of the box, explain your reasoning. Now, what is the volume exactly? It's all the three dimensions multiplied. It's length times width or breadth times height is equal to volume. What is the length? It's x plus 5 times x minus 2 is the breadth and the height is x. That is equal to 30x. Now you might be thinking, okay, I can cancel this and this x out. Yes, you can, but then you should make sure that you have added x is equal to 0. But instead of that, don't just cancel at this minute. Let's simplify the left side. Let us try to multiply here. Let's leave x because at the end we can just add x to both the terms. Over here, x times minus 2, 5x and minus 5 times minus 2. So it'll be x squared. It's minus 2x plus 5x and then minus 10. This all of this is multiplied with x. That is 30 times x. Now here then, I'll multiply this x. It'll become x cubed minus 2x. Okay, now let me simplify this. What is minus 2x plus 5x? It's positive 3x, but I have one more x to be multiplied, so it's 3x squared minus 10x. That is equal to 30x. So now we can see this 30x. Let's get it inside. So what happens is x cubed plus 3x squared. This plus 30 becomes minus 30 and minus 10 will be minus 40x is equal to 0. Okay, now we have got 0 at one side. We can simplify this. How do we simplify? Let's remove x outside. It'll be x cubed plus 3x minus 40. That is equal to 0. So now there are two numbers equal to 0. Okay, this is not x cubed, it's x squared. Okay, why? Because x is removed out. Why did we do this? We got right side equal to 0 now. And now what we can say is this is either equal to 0 or this term is equal to 0. So one of the solution is x equals 0. What about the whatever is inside? How do we solve it? X squared plus 3x minus 40 is equal to 0. I'll do the actual method and then I'll tell you the shortcut calculator method as well. Here now, what is the coefficient of x squared? It's 1 multiplied by minus 40 is minus 40 itself. And what is this term? It's divided by 3.
So we need two factors, two terms, two numbers that multiply to give us minus 40 and added up gives us 3. How we do is, we know this is 40, right? What are the factors of 40? I'll start with 2. 2 times 20. It's 4 times 10. See, as I write them, I'm subtracting 20 minus 2. It's not possible. 10 minus 4, not possible. Now, after 4, 5 is not 5. 5 times 8. Yeah, this is possible, isn't it? Because 8 times 5 is 40. So I'll just take this as minus 5. And then when I add it up, 8 minus 5 is 3. So it's 8 and minus 5. So here we can split it out, the middle term, as 8x minus 5x minus 40. That is equal to 0. Now we can take the common terms out. What is the common? It's 8 plus x plus 8 is remaining, because I've just taken x out of these two terms. And from here, I'm going to take minus 5. So I'll get the x plus 8 itself. And now what we are going to do, see, this is basically writing like x times a. Let me write a capital A minus 5 times a. Is that okay? Because a and a is same. X plus 8 and x plus 8 is a. So I can remove this a common out, distributive property, and I'm remaining with x minus 5. So I'll remain with x minus 5. If I remove x plus 8 outside, that's a value, isn't it? So this is it. So here we are having x is equal to minus 8 and x is equal to positive 5. These are the solutions. It's either 0, minus 8 and 5. So which do you think is the most realistic solution? Of course, it must be 5, isn't it? Because 5 inches of height, yes, makes sense. 5 and 10 inches of length makes sense, and over here it is 8 inches of width, makes sense. But if it is 0, then it's going to be 0 height, doesn't make sense. Negative number also doesn't make sense. So the only possible answer is 5. I hope that's clear. So yeah, that's what is considered. Therefore, x is 5. It can't be any other numbers. Now let me show you a few shortcut methods. First thing, if you just type mod 5 and 3 here, after we get the cubic equation, see this one, we can directly, sorry, mod 5 and 4, we can directly solve this. What is the coefficient before x cube? It's 1. Then we have 3, it's minus 40, and there is no constant term, so we write 0, and the answer is 5 minus 8 and 0. Or after we remove the x term outside, then we know x is 0. What about these two? Mod 5 and 3, the coefficient is 1, 3, and lastly we have minus 40. So the answer is 5 and minus 8. But how can we, avoid this writing? How can we avoid this step? Whatever I've done over here, right? You can avoid that. I'll show you how. It's all that once you get the quadratic equation over here, put it in the calculator. If I put in the calculator, the coefficients 1, 8, see over here, 1, 3, and minus 40. I put it in over here. The answer is 5 and minus 8. So basically, I won't have these steps. I will only jump to the answer directly. Okay, because from the calculator, I know the answer is x is minus 8 and 5. Or 5 and minus 8. Then what I'm going to do is above step, I'm just going to get this inside. It's going to be plus 8, x is minus 5, that is equal to 0. Okay. So now here then, if you know so much, why don't I just multiply it over here? X times x, x squared. X times minus 5, it'll be minus 5x. 8 times x plus 8x. And lastly, minus 40, that is equal to 0. So this is how we can trace back the steps. You don't need to tell how you got this, but from the answer, you can write these two steps and that is fine. The reason I'm telling you the shortcut is it's the written exam. So you write the answers and then trace back the steps if you're getting confused to get the two numbers. Okay? Because you can write so much, and if you directly jump to the answer, you may get marks. It's fine. You can use your calculator and this is done. You will get full marks, but sometimes you may not. So if your teacher exactly wants all these steps, then write the answer and trace back two steps. That is fine. I hope this is clear. And so the answer was x is equal to 5, and then just substitute it back in this. So if you put 5 plus 5, it's 10. You can see 10 inches of length, 8 inches of width. It should be, sorry, it's 5 minus 2, not 8. It's 5 minus 2. It's 3 inches of width and height is of phi. What about the next problem? The combined volume of a cube and a cylinder is 1000 cubic inches. If the height of the cylinder is twice. Okay, first let's write what is given. The volume of a cube and a cylinder. Cube plus cylinder and cube is equal to 1000 inches cube. That's the volume. Now what is cube exactly? Side power 3, right? Side. This is a cube. So here how we find all the dimensions, just multiply the dimensions 3 times. The width, the length and the height, they must be equal. So that is, imagine that is x, so I'm just taking x cube. What about the cylinder? What is the volume? It's 2 pi r square, pi r square h, not 2. 2 is the surface area, pi r. This is pi r square h. And here you go, that is the volume of the cylinder. It's very simple, in fact. Cylinder is like this, right? What is this? It's a circle. What's the area of a circle? Pi r squared. That is the cross-sectional area. But cylinder is lots of cross-sections of circles, right? There are so many cross-sections. How many cross-sections? It depends on the height. That's the height. So if you multiply the area of one cross-section with the height, you get the volume of a cylinder. That's the entire volume. That is equal to 1000. Now here they have told something. If the height of the cylinder h is twice the radius. Okay, so I'll just write away h is 2 times radius, and the side of the cube, okay, the side I've taken it as x, isn't it? That is 4 times the radius. X is 4 times the radius. We need to find the radius of the cylinder to the nearest inch. Okay, so this is given as 4r, that's the radius, whole cube, plus pi r square times 2 times r, that is equal to 1000. It is simplified further. What is 4 times 4 power 3? It is 1632, 64. 4 cubes is 64. R power 3 plus pi r. See now, r square minus r multiplied by r. It will be r power 3. And this 2, let's write it out over here. That is equal to 1000. So what next? You can see this is 64 and this is 2 pi. They're constants, r cube and r cube. So what you can basically do is, I'll remove out r power 3. It'll be 64 plus 2 pi. That is equal to 1000. They need it nearest 10th. So I'll just take it to the other side. R cube will be equal to 1000 divided by 64 plus 2 pi. If I put this in the and then you can take the cube root on both the sides. So cube root of 1000 divided by 64 plus 2 pi is the radius of this particular cylinder. Let's use a calculator and solve this up. Here then, it's shift and this symbol here, I guess. Yes, that's the cube root symbol. And what are the terms? It's 1000 divided by 64 plus 2 pi. That is equal to 2.4. See, nearest tenth of an inch, it's 2.4. That's it. Now you can even get your answer from the first step itself. Check it out over here. X power. Now, okay, this is not possible. You can't take it as x. From here, from this step, once you substitute in terms of r, open the bracket, it's 4 times radius, which we consider it as variable x, close the bracket, cube it up to the power 3. That is equal to, sorry, it's not equal to, it's plus. This is plus, pi is over here, shift pi, multiplied by the radius, that is x squared, multiplied by 2 times again radius. Okay, so it's pi x squared times 2x. That is equal to what exactly? It is equal to 1000. Shift and solve and then press equal to. You can see it's 2.4. So whichever method you do, you can just check your answer from that. So here the answer is 2.4 and that will be the final answer. An open response question. The volume of the figure is x cubed minus 9x. The surface area of another figure is 8x squared. Disregarding the units, the volume of the first figure equals the surface area of the second figure. What is the possible value of x? It's very important to understand it's disregarding the units because the units over here is in terms of cubic and over here it's squared. You can't equate them. They're two different quantities altogether. Area and volume are not equal. Now here they are just telling units are not considered. So therefore we can just equate these terms. That's it. So volume equals surface area, that will be x power 3 minus 9x is equal to 8x squared. Let's take this to the other side. It will be x power 3 minus 8x squared minus 9x, that is equal to 0. You can take x outside as common term. You'll have x squared minus 8x minus 9, that is equal to 0. So we know one of the term is x is equal to 0, and one more term is x squared minus 8x minus 9, that is equal to 0. Now, how do we do this? Since it's the writing question, I'll use the calculator and then I'll trace back the steps. So here we'll just solve it up. Mod 5 and 3, the coefficients are 1, minus 8 and minus 9. So it's 9 and negative 1. This are not the factors. The opposite sign of this are the factors. It's minus 9 and positive 1. That means it'll be minus 9 and minus 8. Because now we are getting the answers here. It's positive 9, x is equal to minus 1. Now you need to take it inside. It'll be x minus 9, x positive 1, that is equal to 0. And now start multiplying. It'll be x squared minus 9x x squared, and there is 1x. Sorry, I did like this and like this. That's fine. Now it is plus x and minus 9. What I did is I wrote the answer and then I traced back the steps. So this would be the two values. Now here, x, can it be 0? Because see, there are three possible solutions. X is 0, 9 and 1. Now here, since it's squared and over here also minus sign is there, you can consider minus 1 because it's just a numerical value. It's not a real value, isn't it? 9 is possible, but 0 cannot be possible. It wouldn't make sense. You're just equating identity, 0 and 0 there. So that's how we solve it. You can even verify your answer by mod 5 and 4 from the first step. 1 minus 8 minus 9, and lastly it's 0. It's 9 minus 1 and 0. 9 minus 1 and 0 are the final answers. But here the value of x is only two possibilities, minus 1 and 9. This is how we do it, solving up. Over here they have written how it's solved, but if you just write the steps, that's more than enough. You find the solutions, but see, it's the writing part, so let's solve it by writing. Here we need to use the u is equal to x squared method. So I'm assuming u is equal to x squared. So what's going to happen here? That is u squared minus u minus 2 is equal to 0. Why? Because if u is equal to x squared, what is u power 2? It is x power 4. So x power 4 is u power 2 minus u minus 2. Now again, I'm going to use the calculator method, directly get the answer, and then I'll trace back the steps. It'll be mod 5 and 3. Now what is the coefficients? It's 1 minus 1, and lastly it's minus 2. And here we go, it is 2 and minus 1. Those are the two answers, 2 and minus 1. But that'll be at the bottom, x is equal to 2 and x is equal to minus 1. Now then, what is the above step? It'll be x minus 2, x positive 1, that is equal to 0. So it'll be x, it's in terms of u's. My bad, I forgot to write it as u. Just remember which variable you have chosen over here. It's not x, it's u. So everywhere you need to write it as u, and u over here. So u times u is u power 2. U times 1 is plus u minus 2u and minus 2. That is equal to 0. And then what next? That's done for the u, but u is not the answer. This is the values, right? You need to put over here x squared. So u is equal to 2, but x squared is equal to 2 actually, and x squared is equal to minus 1. So now I'm not going to solve it using mod 5, 3 or anything. I'm directly going to take square roots on both the sides. So x is equal to square root 2. But remember, it's plus or minus. And over here as well, x is equal to square root minus 1 plus or minus. Is this possible? This is not possible. You'll get undefined because you can't have a square root of negative number. So what you do over here is you write it as imaginary number because I is equal to square root minus 1. Hope you remember this. So plus or minus I, that is square root of negative 1. So which are the solutions? Yeah, this is solution. Yes, A. This is correct. That's it. None of the others are correct. A and B is the only solution. I hope this is clear. Here we have again two rectangles. Evelyn is making two rectangle tabletops. The dimensions of both are shown. If both designs have the same area, what's the value of x? So that means the area of this and the area of this is the same, but the dimensions are not the same. Length and width varies. So what you need to do is find the area. X plus 4 times x, that will be equal to what? 2x plus 3 times x minus 2. So let's just do the multiplication. X times x is x squared plus 4x, that will be equal to 2x squared 2x squared minus 2x plus 3x and minus 6. Now let's leave all this over here because 2x squared is bigger. I'll take all these left terms over here to the right. It'll be 2x squared minus x squared. And what? Okay, I just realized over here it's 2x times minus 2. It's minus 4x. My bad. See here, it's 2 times minus 2, so it's minus 4x. And so here I'll have minus 4x plus 3x. And then I'll get this minus again 4x. And lastly minus 6. Why? Because I got this 4x inside. That's minus 4x. Now this all is equal to 0. So here we will have x squared. 2 minus 1 is 1. X squared minus 8 plus it's minus 5x. And lastly minus 6. That is equal to 0. Now I'm going to use the shortcut method, that is directly mod phi 3 and then do the previous steps. Here mod phi and 3 gives us coefficients of 1, minus 5 and lastly minus 6. The answer is 6 and negative 1. So the final answer is x is equal to 6 and x is equal to minus 1. So we know the answer must be x is equal to 6. Why? Because you can't have minus 1 as the dimension. Now what about the previous steps here? It'll be x minus 6 and x plus 1 are the factors that is equal to 0. And over here you can do x squared minus 6x plus x squared plus x, that is one term. And lastly it is minus 6, that is equal to 0. Here this minus 5x, this minus 5x is split into minus 6 and plus 1. Now here when I look at these terms, minus 6 and 1, I know it should have minus 6 and plus 6. So this is how we write it out. And here we go. That is the answer. 6 is the answer, not minus 1, because we should have a positive value, real number. In this question, we will determine whether two functions are inverse of each other. What exactly is inverse? If you do the composition of the two functions amongst each other, that is f of g of x or g of f of x, you can see over here. When you do that, you must get identity functions for both, that is x and x. If you get anything other than that, then they're not inverse. So if two functions f and g are inverse functions, then if and only if their compositions are identity function. That is what it means. Now let's see over here. First, you need to do f, this circle means composition of g. What does this mean? And there is also g composition of f. This is very simple. This means f of g of x. What exactly this means is, what is the function g of x? That is 1 minus x. You need to put it inside this function instead of x. So basically you can see that's g of x, right? That is basically f of 1 minus x. What is function x, f of x? It's x, but instead of x we have 1 minus x, and then already there is minus 1. It's just that this x is replaced by this term. Simple as that. Whereas for g of x, composition of g of x, this will be g of f of x. So this is the other way around. You put this entire function inside this x. So here it's going to be g of, what exactly it is? X minus 1. And now here it'll be 1 minus this x becomes x minus 1. X minus 1. This is it. So let's solve it up. Here, what is the answer? It's going to be 1 minus 1. That cancels off. It'll be minus x. So this is not inverse, but I'm doing it anyways. Here it'll be 1 and this is going to be minus x, and plus 1 will be 2 minus x. This is not inverse of each other. You can just stop at this because it's not x. If it was x, then yes, they are inverse of each other. So we can tell these are not there because it's not identity function here. Only if it is x, it is identity function. So answer is no for that. What about this one? Let's try this. So let me just try the first one first. F of g of x. You can just write like this as well. Now here, when I start solving it, I'll substitute whatever is it. Since it's the writing exam, it's better to do some steps. Now what is g of x? It is half x minus 3. That's it. Now let's substitute in this function here. I will write it again. Okay, you don't need to write it again over here. We can just substitute over here itself in the above step. What happens? It'll be 2, but now instead of this x value, you need to put everything what is below. X minus 3 and then plus 3. Now you need to multiply this 2 inside. And since this is all multiplication, right? This cancels. That's enough. That's done. And you have x minus 3 plus 3. And what happens here? Yes, that is the correct answer. So these are inverse of each other. But I'll just prove it again. Let's do the other side as well. G of f of x. This means it is f composition of g. And this is g composition of f. Now here we will have, what is exactly f of x? It is 2x plus 3. That will be equal to half. Instead of x, we have 2x plus 3 minus 3. Now this cancels off because plus and minus. So you have half times 2x. Now this is gone. So you have x over here as well. Yes, this is inverse of each other. So you can just write yes, they are inverse. You have to write yes and no, right? Yes, they are inverse. So that will be the final answer. Yes. But you need to do the steps as well here. What about this problem? Same thing. I'll quickly do it over here. F of g of x. And then we have f of... Now, it's 1/5 of x plus 1. That is equal to 5 times 1/5 x plus 1 minus 5. Now, we multiply this inside. So, 5 times 1/5 will be 1x. I'll just write x plus 5. And then we have minus 5. This cancels off. It is x. If you do the other way around, you will get the same answer. It should be x itself. Let me just quickly do it. G of f of x. Since it's the writing exam, I'm just going to do it both. Okay. The composition of f, composition of g, and g composition of f as well. So this is going to be, it's 5x minus 5. That is equal to 1/5 of, what is x now here? 5x minus 5 plus, now plus 1 is remaining. So 1/5 multiplied by 5x will be x minus 1 plus 1, because 1/5 times minus 5 will be minus 1. Cancels off, it's x. So yes, they are inverse of each other. That's it. What about here? When you look at it, you can say they are inverse of each other because, you know, inverse of 2 is half. Half multiplied by x. So it's basically dividing 2, isn't it? So let me do it quickly. G of x. And I'm directly going to write it over here. Yeah, you can write it. It's very simple. And it is going to be 2 times half x, and it will be x. Same thing, g of f of x, and we have g of 2x, that is equal to half times 2x, and that's gonna cancel off, and the answer is x. Yes, they are inverse of each other. Please do write that statement. Yes, the pair of functions are inverse, or you can tell they are inverse functions. What about this one? It seems, let's try it rather than guessing. It's h of x and g of x. Let's do first with h composition g. That will be h of g of x. That is h of 1/6 x plus 3 what's going to happen here? It's going to be 6 times 1/6 x plus 3, and then we have minus 2. So here it'll be x plus 6 times 3 is 18 minus 2, and here you can see it is x plus 16. So no, this is not inverse of each other, because your plus 3 over here minus 2 doesn't make sense, right? So no, they're not inverses. Now here it is x plus 16. And you can even try the other way around. It will not, but you can just stop. When one is not inverse, just stop it and tell no. And how about this one here? Same thing, f of g of x. And here it'll be f of 1 by 8 x plus 5 by 4. That's going to be 8 times 1/8 x plus 5/4 minus 10 x, and that's going to be 2. It's going to be plus 10 minus 10. Yes, this is correct. It is inverse of each other. I'll do the same thing with the other function as well, g of 8x minus 10. So I'm going to substitute this entire thing over here in this x. That'll be 1/8 of 8x minus 10, and then plus 5 by 4. So it's going to be x minus 10 by 8 plus 5 by 4. What happens here? You divide both the sides by 2, it's going to be 5 by 4. So it's minus 5 by 4 plus 5 by 4. So it's just x that cancels off over here. So yes, they are inverse of each other. So please do write yes, they are inverse of each other. This is the main thing to solve. It's better when it's yes, do for both the terms. Now let's see here. Same thing, it's f of g of x. And we have f of half square root x, that is equal to 4 times half square root x the whole squared. This both things get squared. See, it's ab squared, that is a squared b squared. So here we have 4 times square of half is 1/4, and then square of square root x will be x itself. So here we have x. Yes, this is inverse of each other. Now we can try the other way around. It will be g of 4x squared, that is equal to half square root 4x squared. Now what about square root ab? That is square root a multiplied by square root b. This is square root b. So here it's going to be half times square root 4 is 2 times square root x squared will be x itself. And so yes, it is x. Therefore yes, they are inverse. You can just write therefore yes, they are inverse, or just write yes, they are inverse functions. You can write it from the question itself. So the answer is yes over there. And then here, what about this one? Again, f of g of x, let's substitute. Instead of x, square root 3x minus 3. That'll be 1/3 square root 3x minus 3 the whole squared plus 1. And here now, 1/3, when you square this up, it'll be 3x minus 3 plus 1. Now multiply this 1/3 throughout. It'll be 3 divided by 3, it's going to be 1. Only x, I'll write it out. Minus 1/3 times 3 is 1 plus 1, and it cancels off. It'll be x. Then what about the next one? It is inverse. You can stop it, but since the writing part, I'm just going to write it out over here. So it'll be f of, sorry, it's g of 1/3 x squared plus 1. That's going to be square root 3 times 1/3 x squared plus 1 minus 3. That's inside the square root. So when we multiply here, it's going to be x squared plus 3 minus 3, because you're multiplying 3 to 1/3, it's going to be x squared only. Then 3 times 1 is 3, minus 3 remains. This cancels off. Square root x squared, that is equal to x. So yes, that is inverse. So yes, this is, see, now they're telling because it's identity function, they both are inverse. Here then, same thing again and again. I'm just going to directly do this. So it's going to be x plus 3 the whole square minus 9. Now here, remember, we have to use a plus b the whole square identity. It's not a times b, it's a plus b. So this is going to be a squared plus 2 times ab plus b squared. And if at all it was a minus b the whole square, then it's going to be a squared minus 2 times ab plus b squared. Now here it'll be x squared plus 2 times 3 will be 6, and then multiply with x, plus 3 squared is 9 minus 9. This cancels off, but you're remaining with x squared plus 6x. This is not inverse functions. You can stop over there. See over here, because of this, they're not inverse functions. Let's try the other way around as well. That is going to be g of x squared minus 9. That will be over here. Instead of x, we have x squared minus 9 plus 3. That is going to be x squared minus 6. So this doesn't make sense as well, isn't it? Now here we substitute this entire term instead of x. Now we are getting something else. It's not x. If we get one wrong in the first composition, just stop it. You don't need to do for both. But even if you do for both, they will prove that they're not inverse of each other. And this one, here we have f of, this is cube root 2/3 x. That will be equal to 2/3, and we have cube root 2/3 x. The whole power, see this x is substituted by this value, right? But this whole power, x is raised to power 3. So this entire thing to the power 3. That cancels off. And you're remaining with 2/3 multiplied by, here what happens? It's again 2/3 x. Now here then, it will be 4 by 6x, which says it is not inverse. They're not inverses. Now here we got 4 by 6. Now, my bad. It is not 6, 4 by 9. What happens? 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3. But still, you know, the answer is no itself, but make sure you do it right. And the solution set over here also has done the mistake. It's 4 by 3, which is absolutely wrong. Even my answer 4 by 6 was wrong. 4 by 3 is wrong. It's actually 4 by 9x. Then we just do the other side as well. If you're trying to do from the function g of x, that's also possible. You can do this first. 2/3 x cube, that will be equal to, here in, say this cube root stays the same, but instead of x, what do you have? You have 2/3 x cube. Now then it's going to be cube root of 4 by 9 x cube. Oh wait, that's x cube, sorry. 4 by 9 x cube. Now you can split this cube root over here. That's going to be 4 by 9, and then cube root of x cube will be just x. So this would be the answer. So now here, x, that's absolutely fine, but you have this something coefficient, so it doesn't make sense. It is not an identity function, so therefore they are not inverse. So no, they're not inverses. The next problem as well is similar. Now we will find f of square root x minus 6. That will be over here, square root x minus 6 plus 6 the whole square. But before we square it, cancel this minus 6 plus 6. So it's going to be square root x the whole square. That's x. Yes, absolutely, this is inverse. We can try the other way around as well. It's going to be g of, what's the function f of x? It's x plus 6 the whole square. That's going to be square root x plus 6 the whole square minus 6. Square root and square cancels off, you have x plus 6 minus 6. You're remaining with x. So these are inverse functions. So yes, they are inverses. And here as well, let's try f of, see, I'm not writing all the steps, but initially you can write f of g of x. And then that means, what is that? F composition g of x. And now we can substitute, what is g of x? It is 1/4 x squared minus 5. That is equal to 2 square root 1/4 x squared minus 5 minus 5. Look here, this entire thing goes over here instead of x. Now this entire thing is x. Now it's x squared. Yeah, this entire thing is x, but then there's minus 5 already. So 2 square root, what happens here? 1/4, let it be x squared. Now this is minus 5 minus 5, it's going to be minus 10. Now this cannot be inverse.
I think they're supposed to change the sign, but anyways, now this is not an inverse. Why? Because you cannot simplify this. You can, there's a constant term here. So you can tell this is no, not an inverse. Even the other way around, you can try this. G of 2 square root x minus phi, that will be equal to 1/4. Here we have, instead of x, 2 square root x minus phi the whole square minus 5. Now here 1/4 remains. This is going to be 4 multiplied by 4, and we have x minus 5 and minus 5. This 1/4 and 1/4 cancel, 4 cancels over here, 1/4 and 4. But here you have x minus 5 will be minus 10. So no, they are not inverses of each other. So here we can see this is the issue. We cannot simplify to x. It doesn't matter what you do, there is some terms remaining. Therefore, they are not inverses of each other. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this question, we will graph and analyze square root functions. Here they have told us to graph a function, that is p of x. They have given the function. And then they have also told there's a graph given over here. We need to compare both of those graphs. So first thing is, we need to graph this given function minus 3 square root x plus 2. That is not the same as this one. When you look at this, you'll come to know this is a cubic graph. This is a square root graph. How do you graph it? Let's make table and then graph it. So in order to do the table, more and 7 in the calculator, and then let's type this function, that is minus 3 square root x plus 2, and that's it. Press equal to. You will not get this option. Most of your calculators won't have this. If at all you get it, just press equal to. Don't type anything over here. We have only one function to graph. Now when you're graphing, let's take a reasonable amount. It's always minus 5 to 5. You just memorize these values, it's fine. And now let's start. Look here, this is a square root function. So here you can see there's lots of errors, right? You can see there are plenty of errors. Why? Because when any number inside the square root is minus, it's imaginary. So therefore we get the error. Now let me show you. If I have minus 3 plus 2, what happens? It is square root negative 1, error. But what about this minus 2? If I put minus 2 plus 2, it's 0. Square root of 0 is 0 itself. So that is fine. Therefore, you have errors. Doesn't matter. Ignore those errors. Or what I would suggest is make a table. Like this, you want to make x and y, x, y. I will choose the numbers where it starts with an error. Minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. And then you can write over here undefined or error. Error is undefined. Undefined, just to make make yourself known that you won't have any point over here. But you start with minus 2 as 0, minus 3, and you can easily see the other points over here in the calculator. You can see these are the points. It is minus 4.24, and then we have minus 5.19. That's enough. Now you will have this grid, isn't it? At minus 3, it's undefined. So don't start over there. In the table, I've just written it, just for the understanding. Minus 2 might be over here. This is minus 2, minus 1, 0. So what is minus 2? It's 0. So this is 1 point. What happens at minus 1? It's minus 3 somewhere over here. Imagine this minus 3. You have this point. Then at 0, it is minus 4. If this is minus 4, somewhere here. And then over here, it keeps on going. See, my graph is not at all to the scale. When you draw it to the scale, it will be more reasonable graph, but something like this. If you join these all points, you need to join it, properly. Please join it properly. This will be the answer. That will be the graph. So let's look into the answer here. Okay, this is approximately okay. You can see this. That's what we meant to do, isn't it? Here, now we can compare. They have started from minus 2. It's absolutely fine. You can start with minus 3 as well. If at all the x values are given in the exam, say the box is given and this is mentioned, then only stick to these points. You can get it in the table. So here minus 2 is 0, minus 1 is 3, minus 3. Then 4.2,
then 5, 5 minus 5.2 minus 6, and so on. So you can go on doing it. Then you just join it up. So that's the first part. The table and the graph, very, very crucial. The next part is comparing. Now let's compare these two graphs. Let's look at these two graphs here. And these are few things you must remember. Some basic things. What is it? Domain. It's very important. Range. Then what are the intercepts? You can write x-intercept and y-intercept. Where is the x-intercept? Whichever the part of the graph touching the x-axis, that's the x-intercept. Y-intercept is over here. What about this one? X-intercept, y-intercept. Now, where is it increasing and decreasing? You can see this is increasing part of the graph, increasing and increasing itself. It's only increasing, whereas this is decreasing. Positive, negative. Positive in the sense anything above the x-axis, that's positive. Negative is below the x-axis. If this part is positive, negative. Here, everything is negative. And end behavior is what happens, where is it going? Here, end behavior, it stops at 0. And right side, it goes on towards minus infinity. It's going down. Here it goes positive infinity and left one minus infinity. Now let me show you how to write it. You can write in different ways. After all, it's the writing exam, isn't it? So first, let's do the p of x. That is this one which we graphed just now. The domain is not all real numbers. Domain is always for a square root. Make this equal to 0. X plus 2 must be greater than or equal to 0. So x is greater than or equal to minus 2. So domain is x must be greater than or equal to minus 2. That's it. Now, what about the range? No, what about the other equation? See, you can see it's a cubic. So domain is all real numbers. You can write it as minus infinity to infinity or all real numbers. So this is the thing. What about the range? Here in the graph only you can see you don't need to worry about solving anything. You can see all negative numbers. So here, because we have this minus sign, y is not greater than or equal to, it's less than or equal to 0. There's nothing added to it. So this is why we will just do less than or equal to 0. Whenever there is minus here, we do less than or equal to 0. Now imagine there was plus 2 here. Then it will be less than or equal to 2 plus 2. And if this minus sign is not there, then always it will be greater than or equal to. So these are some rules to remember. What about the range over here? This is a cubic function. It's again all real numbers or minus infinity to infinity. This is the domain and range. Intercepts. Let me write x-intercept is where for this function x-intercept is at 2, x minus 2. X is at minus 2, isn't it? And what about y-intercept? Y-intercept is, see, you can write it approximately. You don't need to write it accurately. Just y is equal to minus 4.2. Now what about this one? It's the same thing. X-intercept at x is equal to 2, positive 2. And y-intercept will be y equals minus 1.2. That's fine. It's approximately, you're assuming it. That's absolutely okay. And increasing and decreasing function. So I'm going to write this over here. What happens? Where is it increasing? No, it is decreasing. You can just tell it's decreasing. Okay, decreasing. This one is increasing. And then we have positive and negative over here. This is negative only. This is all negative function. Now here, where is it negative? Now you can mention over here negative is minus 2. Let's see the answers in a while. But this entire thing is negative. Over here, what I would write is negative is from minus infinity until which point? X is equal to 2. Minus infinity till 2, positive 2, positive till 2 to infinity. Now here as well, you can write negative from minus 2 to infinity. It will be minus 2 to infinity. And end behavior, what is happening at left side and the right side of the graph? Look what is happening. It's going towards infinity, but down, minus infinity. So now remember what you need to write over here. You should always write as x tends to positive infinity, as x tends to minus infinity. This you memorize it. Okay, that means what happens to the right and the left. Positive infinity means right side. What is happening? This is going down, so y will be minus infinity. Y will be minus infinity. If it was going up, it would be positive infinity. But what happens here? At minus infinity, it stops, right? So what does, where does it stop? At y is equal to, y is how much? 0. So this is the line. Y value is 1, 0, minus 1, and so on at 0, right? So we write y is 0. What about this side? At the right side, positive infinity, y value is going upwards. So you write y also is infinity. And this one will be minus infinity. Why? Because it's going downwards. So these are the differentiation. These are comparing features. Now we'll see it all over here. This is it. Now, okay, I have just written decreasing, see over here, decreasing and increasing, right? That is fine, but over here what they are mentioned is as x tends to infinity. It's up to you. See, what they mean is over here decreasing as x tends to infinity means it's keep on decreasing towards infinity. Here also it's increasing, keep on increasing towards infinity. That's what it means. Now other things all are the same, I believe. Let me just check it out. Okay, even over here they have just told it's greater than. I wrote from minus 2 to infinity. That's absolutely fine. Here they have mentioned all real numbers. These are the things. Now here I have written y. They have written it as a function f of x and p of x. Up to you. You can just mention this. That is y itself. Y and this function, it means the same thing. So this is how, oh, we have mentioned minus infinity first. You can start with infinity, minus infinity, up to you. So that is the comparison. That's it. That is how we solve it. Here we can see that examine p of x, that's the function, which is 2 less than the cube root of x. See, cube root of x, 2 less than this, less than the cube root of x minus 2, because it's 2 less, right? This is the given function. So what is the difference here? You have to write the function by yourself. And now we know how to graph. Let's go to mode 7 in the calculator and type this out. Shift and the symbol here, cube root x minus 2. And here we go. You need to press minus 5 to 5 and step of 1. Don't write all the values. You can choose, say, for example, from minus 3 to 3 is enough. You will get a proper graph. From minus 3 to 3 is more than enough. Over here from minus 2 to 2 is taken. You need to write these values just like what we did a while ago in the previous question. Here, choose this. See, they're all matching. And here, yes, it is all correct. They have rounded off to the 2 decimal points. Write them out and then graph it. Choose the point. Say 0 is at minus 2. Here we go. 1 at minus 1, and then minus 1 at minus 3, and so on. You can easily graph it up. And once we graph, remember we need to compare the features. Let's look at the comparison. Domain of the given function which we drew, it's all real numbers. The range is also all real numbers, domain and range here. But what is the issue with the square root function? We can't have all real numbers. It's always x is greater than or equal to 0. Because here you can see it's only from the positive side of right side of y. So that means x0 and infinity. What about the y? It's greater than or equal to minus 2. See, it's minus 2 and more. Therefore, this is the domain and range for the square root function. Now, what are the intercepts here? Intercepts of x is, here it is, minus 2. Now, this is y-axis, y-intercept. Now, what is x-intercept? It's not mentioned here, but what you can do is there's a simple way. You know the equation, right? Let's just go back. Here, this is the equation, isn't it? If you want to find the intercept and it's not visible in the graph, it's very simple. Make this y is equal to 0. This equation is there, right? Make it equal to 0 and solve for the x. Cube root x, that is minus 2. Take this minus 2 to the other side, be 2 cube root x. What is the x value? Cube both the sides, make it power 3, and you'll get 8 is equal to x. This is the way to actually find the x-intercept. You can also find the y-intercept by this method, but also you can easily approximate it. Now, how do you find the y-intercept? you can just make this x equal to 0 in the sense, let me just solve it. Y is equal to cube root x is made 0 minus 2. Let me solve this up. Y is equal to minus 2. This is the y-intercept. You can clearly see y-intercept is at minus 2, x-intercept will be at 8. That's how we can solve it up. Same thing over here, but the first graph we cannot do that because we do not know it, right? We don't know the equation, so you should approximate it itself. Now this is at minus 2, here y-intercept is at minus 2, it touches y-axis at minus 2. X-intercept, it touches at 4, you can see, that's the reason. Now this is increasing, cubic is increasing, even this one is increasing towards infinity. Now, where is it negative and where is it positive? So here you can see until it touches the x-axis, that is x-intercept is there, right? 8. It is all below the x-axis. So negative for x less than 8 because at 8 it touches the x-axis. Then it goes up. So positive is more than x. X greater than 8. That is positive for cubic only. Now, what about this one? You need to see whether it is going upwards or downwards. If it was downwards, it would have been only negative, but here it goes upwards. Where does it touch? At 4. Till x4 x less than 4 is negative, whereas x greater than 4 will be positive. What about the end behaviors? I told you memorize this. X will be infinity and minus infinity. Now here, if you look carefully, at minus infinity, left side, it is going minus infinity itself. It's going downwards. Whereas at positive infinity, it's going upwards. So it's infinity. Look here, is there anything else, any part of the graph left side of a y-axis? That means minus infinity. No, you can ignore that. You can just take x towards infinity because it's from 0 to positive only, going to the right. It's going upwards, so it's positive infinity. That is the reason for all this. Now, you need to remember this. If they give this in the exam, it's well and good. Otherwise, you need to remember, look at the graphs and you can easily fill the table. Here as well, they have given us the equation in the calculator, more than 7. Then type this equation, that's square root x minus 2. Then press next and type plus 5. Here, this is the first equation. Ignore the second equation. Start at minus 5, end it at 5. Step is 1. You get value, see its error. Now you get these values. So you can just start writing at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's more than enough in the table. Some of the values. You don't need to write so many. Just a few values are enough, and then you get this graph. It's very easy. 2 is 5, whereas 3 is 6, 4 is 6.41, and easily plot some points and join them together. Next is very important. We are comparing. What is the domain? See, both are square root functions. What is the domain here? It's greater than or equal to x. Y is greater than or equal to 5. That's over here. What about this one? It's less than or equal to 2. So you can see it's going to the left side. It's x is less than or equal to 2 and greater than or equal to 5. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Now, is there any x-intercept here? No, it's not touching the x-axis. Is there any y-intercept? No, there's none. That's why it's none and none. What about this? No x-intercept. It doesn't touch x-axis. But it'll touch the y-axis at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. Exactly it's 6.41, but it doesn't matter. In your exam, you can write it as 6.5 or 6.4. That's okay. Where is it increasing, this one? It is, yes, increasing towards infinity. This one is also increasing, but here, see here, it goes left side. From here, it's originating and it goes towards this side. So there is two ways to write it actually. But since it's originating going, you write increasing, that's enough. Otherwise, you can write it is decreasing like this. But the arrow, look at the arrow where it is going. It's going to the left, so it is increasing. It's going up, you can say. So that is why it's increasing. And where is it positive and negative? Both are just positive. There's nothing below the x-axis, so it's positive and positive. This one is positive, greater than x equals 2. This one, less than x equals 2. Here, p of x is the below function. Q of x is the above function. And what about the end behaviors? See, here, there is nothing at the left side of the x-axis. So what you do is, It's going only towards the right. Just tell x as it goes to infinity, y is also going to infinity. But look here, it's going towards the left. So now over here, what happens is towards x is towards minus infinity, it'll go infinity itself. Though it's over here, there's nothing going towards the right. It's not like this. It's not going left side. It's only towards one side. So only one, which side is it going? Minus infinity, right? Therefore, we tell from x towards minus infinity, y will be infinity, y or q of x. So this is how we compare it. And now here we have been told a multiple choice question. This is the writing part of the exam, but you know how to graph it, right? Minus square root x plus 6 minus 2. You can do the table method and figure out the correct graph. But now, whenever you're minus 2, that means it goes down by 2 units. And if this is minus, instead of going up, it will go down. So I can easily eliminate these both options. It's either this or this. So here you can see each unit is 2. So I can see this is correct, either this or this. But which one is the correct one? X plus 6 should be greater than or equal to 0. So x must be greater than or equal to minus 6. So minus 6 is option B. Here it should originate at minus 6 and y must be at minus 2 because it's at minus 2. And this minus indicates it's going downwards. So B is correct option. What about this function? You have all the 4 options. You need to choose the correct one. There's one way you can choose all these 4 in the calculator and figure out which is the correct one. That's one thing. Now, what is this cube root 1 by 3? That means it's cube root. Okay. This is equal to x power 1 by 3. Now, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4 units down. This is entirely wrong. This would mean it is going either right side or left side because there is bracket, right? That is towards the domain x-axis. Now, when you do plus or minus, this will either go up and down. Now, since we want down, it's option C because it's minus 4. It's very simple. Cube root function, you can easily understand. It's going down by 4 units, so it's minus 4, option C. And that is the end of all the writing part questions. I hope you have found these videos helpful and beneficial. And if you can do a huge favor to me, that is by sharing these videos with your friends who also can benefit from it. All the advanced grade videos, EoTs, and lesson explanations are available. Please do share it for those who can benefit. And also, if you could subscribe to my channel or like these videos, it would mean a lot to me. Thank you very much for watching my videos. I wish you all the best for the exam.